So welcome to Decentralized. Thank you for coming. So Decentralized got just started in January, actually in Houston. I have moved to Austin just 3 months ago. So Decentralized is now available for events, both in Houston and in Austin. And we have events on a monthly basis in both cities. Predominantly, we are dedicated to blockchain, which is Web 5. We also are incorporating Web 5 and quantum computing. So that's our main focus. Since AI is crossing over all these fields, or it's going to, we have a session on AI once in a while as well. What else? My name is 𝗏𝗏 𝗟𝗱𝗏𝗏𝗏. I am, you can say, former mathematician at this point and finance professional. I have spent most of my days in compliance, audit, and regulatory field. And about 5-6 years ago, I have crossed over to blockchain and also went back and did a certificate in quantum computing. So that's kind of what led me to go this direction. Let's see what else. If you would like to follow us, we have a Telegram channel. And if you're interested, you can stop by and we can certainly exchange the information. We also have a website where we have a blog. So if you are within any of those fields and wants to submit an article, feel free to do so. I mean, this is a community-run, volunteer organization. So we welcome anyone. We are catering, I guess, to anyone from beginner all the way to developers in the space. This is basically a focus on adult education, right? So for people to kind of know what's out there and what's available and what people are working on. So for people that do not have time to kind of source all the information, we're sort of trying to give you at least the basics, so then you can find out for yourself if this is something that you want to pursue further. And without further ado, we have presentation by 𝗂𝗵𝗲 today. The topic is in AI, and she's going to talk about who holds power in AI, and I'm going to have her introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Margaret, for hosting this event. My name is 𝗂𝗵𝗲. I am the founder and creator of the Runtime Diaries, an educational platform that breaks down AI in plain, practical, and relatable ways. So tonight, I want us to think about AI differently, not just as a cool technology, but as a topic that brings about different questions in power. Who holds it? How is it used? And how does it relate to you? So we're going to climb up what I call the ladder of control. Each rung of the ladder represents a level of power in AI. So personal, we're going to talk about how AI affects your daily life. Corporate, what are the rules of AI? Who are the people that make the rules? Government, we're going to talk about subtopics like war, policies, and even mass surveillance. And finally, alternatives. Are there different ways that we can govern AI? And so as I go up each ladder, I'm going to explain what happens. I'm going to give you an example, and then I'm going to give you actionable steps that you can take away with you today. All right, now before we get started climbing our ladder, I want to define 2 key terms. First is AI, artificial intelligence. This is computer systems that are built to do tasks that typically require human thinking. So tasks that it can do are like recognizing different patterns. Governance are systems of rules and accountability that ensures that power is used responsibly. So when I say AI governance, what I mean to ask are questions like, who makes the rules for AI? How are they enforced? And are they even fair? All right, so first we're going to talk about personal. Access. So typically AI tools like ChatGPT Plus cost users $20 per month. Other tools could cost $30 per user per month, or even more than that. This creates a digital divide. People that can pay for these tools will move ahead, and those that can't will get left behind. Identity. So now with the access of AI, you are able to clone someone's face or even voice. So Tony Robbins, a very well-known motivational speaker, is suing an AI company called YesChat.ai for copying his materials without his consent and creating a Tony Robbins GPT. In Hong Kong, an employee actually got tricked by a group of scammers out of $25 million by them using a deepfake of their bosses. And for anyone that doesn't know what a deepfake is, it's just video that copies the facial features and audio likeness of their bosses. Okay. And the latest news, Sora 2 was just released. If anyone doesn't know, that is a tool that just with text or images allows you to create photorealistic videos in seconds. So this raises a lot of questions about identity, because who really owns you? Okay. So now with AI, it's allowing others to have access and decide who gets to be you. All right, so we're starting with our first interactive session. I would like for everybody to break up into groups of 4. I'm sure we have 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. We have about 16 people, so we can break up into groups of 4 right now. And what we're going to be doing, you see these packets right here that are on the first 2 tables. You're going to be answering section 1 question and talk amongst yourself for 2 minutes just to brainstorm on some different ideas there, right? So I'm going to give you all, if you can break up into those groups right now. Ready? I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Ready, set, go. Now I'm going to go with actions. So what are some actions that you can take today in order to protect yourself? The first one, audit your digital footprint. So I want you to go on Google and I want you to search your name plus AI or your name plus deepfake and see what comes up. Is there anything that you don't consent to? Okay, number 2, I want you to go and make sure that you're protecting yourself by doing multi-factor authentication on all of your accounts. So any account that has the ability for you to connect to multi-factor authentication, please do so. This is going to make scammers have a very hard time getting into your accounts. And number 3, learn one tool. Not 5, not 10, just one. I want you to learn it all the way even down to the privacy policy. And why this is because you're going to have all of the knowledge that you need to use that tool to the best of your ability for what you want to use it for, but also you'll know what information you want to give that tool and what information you don't want to give it based off of all of the different policies that they have. Right? So that's personal, and we're moving on up to corporate. Yay! All right. So, yes.
In terms of learn a tool, which tools are you talking about?
It could be like ChatGPT.
Oh.
It could be any tool that uses AI.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. All right. So the Stanford and NYU Transparency Index is like a report card for AI companies. Instead of them being graded on math or reading, they're being graded on how open they are. And so some of the questions that they're being asked on this transparency report is, do they share what training data they used? Also, do they explain how their model works? And do they admit where it could go wrong? Okay, so in 2023, the average score of all of these different AI companies based off this transparency index is 37 out of 100. In 2024, it rose to 58 out of 100, which is better, right? But that's still failing by any school grade measure. And what are the top 3 areas in which these companies aren't being open about? The first one are data sources. So these companies don't want to share with you where they're gathering their training data from. It could be sourced from copyrighted material. It could be used from people's personal data that they didn't consent to. Maybe even their medical records. Who knows? They're not being open about that. Number 2 are labor practices. So a lot of these companies, especially when the whole AI hype kind of came about, have been hiring people to label their data for them. So they could be labeling different images, like, oh, this is a cat, this is a dog, for example. And a lot of people weren't being paid very fairly for that role that they were labeling. Some people would even work many, many overtime hours. And that was a huge, huge complaint that they weren't paying people properly for their work. And number 3 are downstream impacts. So let's say, for example, ChatGPT, you use the model, the company releases it to you, you use it, and after that, that's it. Their hands are off of it. They may or may not be monitoring after that how that model is affecting you. What decisions are you making with that model, right? So that's something that they're not being open about if they are tracking it. I want to walk you through a business story. So 𝗟𝗓𝗔, I don't know if any of you know him, but he's a very well-known businessman in America. And he went live for about 3 or 4 days straight to promote his new book, $100 Million Money Models. Now, so he actually on that call made an offer, and he said, hey, I'm going to give you a free copy of this book. Everyone's like, great, that sounds great. But the point actually wasn't the free book. You see, in order to access this free book, you had to sign up for a 90-day free trial of his platform called School.com. You see what he did just there? He locked you into his ecosystem. And the book was the bait. And AI companies use this same playbook. So what they'll do is you'll be on a chatbot and you'll get hooked. Then these same companies will take the data that you're providing to them, let's say on ChatGPT, and they'll retrain their models. After that, they're going to go to other companies and they're going to promote their premium products and APIs. And after that, you're locked into their ecosystem. So the real question here is, if the chatbot isn't the product, the real product is you and your data. All right, so we're gonna start with another interactive session here. 2 minutes, go to section 2 with your team, and I want you all to answer those questions. All right, ready, set, go. All right, thank you, groups. So now, I want to name some names. Who are the gatekeepers of AI today? First one is Microsoft and OpenAI. They have reached a $13 billion deal to now have all OpenAI GPTs hosted on Microsoft Azure. So all of these companies and different developers, they have to now go through Microsoft. And that's creating a kind of bottleneck actually, because now these developers, they are having to be subjected to all of the costs that Microsoft sets and the rules for how to use the GPTs, or hosting the GPTs. All right. Second, Anthropic. They're branded as an ethical AI company, and they have constitutional AI frameworks. But their transparency scores were super low on the index. So this raises a lot of questions. They're ethical, but we can't really see what's behind the curtain. We can't see what's going on with their models, right? And third, Google DeepMind. Their product, Gemini, is initially known as a science-first research-based tool. And today, Gemini is being used in national security contracts. So, what first started out as research is now quietly merging into state power. All right, so let's say that you are using AI at work. What are some red flags that you can find while using the tool? The first one, biased outputs. So let's say, for example, we're all in a company and our HR department is using a resume screener with AI. And after some time, I noticed that that resume screener is downgrading the resumes of women and minorities. Uh-oh, I need to flag that, okay? Number 2, secrecy in training data, okay? So a lot of these companies aren't disclosing what training data they're using. Let's say in this company that we are in together, I'm the CEO and I hired someone on, and you come up to me and you're like, oh, that's great. What was their background? What did they learn, before joining this job? And I couldn't come up with anything to say because I don't know. It's kind of like that. You have to know what data these companies are using with their models, right? And you wouldn't take that from me if I came up to you and say, hey, I'm gonna hire someone and don't know their background, so we can't do the same thing and allow that to happen with AI. And number 3, no audit trails. So there are certain industries like finance and healthcare that have a lot of different audit trails. But in AI, if we don't have any audit trails, then we don't know who to hold accountable for any bad outputs, okay? And so, what are 3 steps that you can take this week? Number 1, I want you to go to a vendor. Let's say someone in your company that represents Microsoft or their products. If you don't know a vendor in your company, go to your AI team. And I want you to ask 3 questions. What data is being used to train the AI models behind our tools that we have? Are there any biases that you've noticed in terms of the outputs of these models? Okay. And the 3rd question, are there any audit trails? Do we know who to hold accountable if the outputs of this AI tool are bad or malicious? That's going to open up a conversation within your team and company. Number 2, I want you to log weird outputs. So if you're using ChatGPT, for example, at your work, I want you to, every single time you're seeing any outputs that aren't making sense, document them. What this is going to do, when you're in a business setting, even in a 9 to 5, you always want to document any kind of weird outputs that you're seeing if you're using a tool and depending on that with the job that you're doing. That way, hey boss, I saw all of these different weird outputs and they're not coming at you about not doing a good job. It's like, hey, it's the AI that is coming up with these weird outputs. Why don't we go to the IT team and figure this out, or the vendor, right? And keep a documentation trail. It's super important. Number 3, I want you to start an AI at work thread. So if you have Microsoft Teams or Slack, start a group, and anyone that's using these AI tools, invite them in the group, and I want you to have them to post any weird outputs that they're seeing. And you're gonna notice a trend with that. And once you notice that trend, you can go to your IT department and say, hey, I'm noticing this weird output. Is there something that you could do about it? That's also going to start a grassroots governance team within your corporation. So it'll be a low lift but high reward way of tracking these weird or biased outputs. Okay? Now we're going to go up to the next rung, government. All right, so the US released its AI action plan this past summer. And that AI action plan is pushing adoption in defense, healthcare, and education. The government is also prioritizing speed and global competition over regulation. I want you to keep that in mind, top of mind. Also, states are creating data pipelines. So what they're doing is they're gathering data from different schools, different businesses, and creating one way to access that data. And it's raising a lot of different questions, like, yes, they might be using that data to improve the city, maybe traffic, records, or any schools, helping the schools improve their curriculum. But are we getting access to that information, and is it going to be easy for them to monitor us? So we have to keep that in mind. At the same time, the Pentagon is testing AI kill chains, which are systems that use algorithms to identify, track, and prioritize military targeting faster than humans ever could. Next, major cities all around the world are experimenting with predictive policing and mass surveillance. And China, the UK, and even some cities in the US are using facial recognition at scale. And lastly, this past summer, the US cracked down on laptop farms, hidden laptop farms. So they shut them down, and what they are is hidden rooms filled with laptops that are running AI on them in order to commit crimes like scams and money laundering. All right, so we're gonna have an interactive session. We're gonna go to section 3 with all your groups. So I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. Ready, set, go. So what are 3 actions that you can take even if you aren't in the government? Number 1, I want you to read the AI Bill of Rights. It was released in 2022. It's 5 pages long and written in plain English, but it explains what our rights would look like in an AI-driven world. Now, remember, a bill is not a law, so nothing has been passed yet, but I want you to read it and get a sense of what their direction is. Number 2, comment publicly. So there are federal agencies that are posting draft policies on certain websites, and you'll see the websites in the workbook there, and I can share that out after the presentation as well. But they have draft AI policies online that you can go in and read and comment publicly on. It takes about 10 minutes and it's free. So share your voice, especially since the government is not focusing so much on regulation. This is one area that you can exercise your power. And number 3, I want you to check with your local officials and see if they're implementing any kind of predictive policing or mass surveillance using AI tools. Just do research online, or even talk to them on social media. Just open up that conversation and get more informed. All right. Now we're moving on to our final rung, alternatives. So we don't usually think about blockchain when we talk about AI, but it offers us a lot of different ways that we can think about how we can share control. And the first way is proof of training data and models. So in crypto exchanges have what's called proof of reserve. They have to, these businesses and exchanges have to present proof that they have the money they say they have. What if we could implement that type of idea in AI? That these companies can prove that they have clear and ethical training data. Number 2, decentralization. Okay, so in blockchain, no one owns the whole system. What if we can implement that idea in AI? Okay, there are open source tools and platforms like Hugging Face and Mistral, and you can use those platforms. And what that's going to do is many different things. 1, remember when we talked about access and paywalls? Open source projects are typically free, so it's going to bring down the barrier of the paywalls. Number 2, we talked about ecosystem lock-in, and there's a couple of different things with that. Number 1, if you're using like ChatGPT or a model with another business, you're locked into their ecosystem, you have to pay them to get, like, let's say you're a developer, an API key to access their platform or their tools, right? Well, with open source projects, you can go in and see what all of these developers are doing. You can see what data they're training with. You have full transparency there. But another risk is with these AI companies. Let's say I have a business and I have my whole business focused around OpenAI's ChatGPT. You know, I have an agentic AI workflows all throughout my business. And let's say Microsoft Azure servers go down. I'm not gonna be making any money that day because everything's down in the system. You're locked into that platform, and it's gonna take you a lot of time to change over to Claude or something different. With open source tools, a lot of people are building similar type of models, and you can go ahead and implement those, and it'd be a lot easier for you in theory to cut over instead of just depending on one company and one type of model. Okay. And number 3, DAOs. So there are decentralized organizations in blockchain. There are communities that vote on different decisions, right? What if we could implement that in AI? So like, let's say in your company, instead of the CEO or CTO making decisions, what if you and all of your other colleagues in the company could vote on different changes? Hey, let's vote on what training data we want to use. Let's vote on what models we want to use and implement in the company. So that's another area that maybe we could try to implement. And I just want to note that, you know, with crypto and blockchain, not everything is positive. There are cons with that too. But just taking some ideas and seeing the positive ones, how we could maybe implement that with AI and share the control with everyone. All right, so what are 3 steps that you can take today to try to think about and implement AI differently? Number 1, I want you to try an open source platform and an open source model. So if you're a developer, try to create an try to go on Hugging Face and create an open source project. If you're not a developer, go on these platforms and see what other people are doing. Try to learn more about the different models that are being created, right? Number 2, explore decentralized identity projects. So there is a platform called Human Passport. It's online and you can search it. And what they do is they allow you to verify your identity online. So they'll ask you a series of questions, they'll ask for proof, and they'll give you a score as well. And with that, one of the positives is that you can verify yourself and you can figure out who's a bot or who's fake. So that's a really good thing to look into. Just explore the project. Number 3, I want you to join a community. So join a decentralized type of community, a Discord or Telegram. You can join Margaret's Telegram and just see how other people do on their voting or rules. You know, what rules are they making? How are they voting on these different topics? So that's all the actions. And we have one more interactive section. So let's go to section 4, and I'm gonna give you all 2 minutes, all right, to talk it through, and this is the last one. Ready, set, go. Remember all of the actions that we talked about. I have them written down there, and after this presentation, I'm going to release a copy of this worksheet that I created on my website and on my stand store. It'll be free for you guys coming, so thank you so much. And it's just a reminder of all of the different actions that we talked about. And remember, alternatives is more of a brainstorm, opening up that conversation. You can come up with your own alternatives as well and share and talk about that amongst your families and friends. So I want to leave you with these last 2 questions after everything we talked about. Who holds power in AI? And what role will you play in shaping that power? Okay. My name is 𝗂𝗵𝗲 I am the founder and creator of the Runtime Diaries, an educational platform that breaks down AI in plain, practical, and relatable ways. Here's how you can connect with me. I'm on LinkedIn. I also have a website up and my email address is there. I would love your feedback on my presentation. There's a QR code on here, and I just want to give you guys a few minutes. We're still way under time. If you could just take a few minutes and share your feedback about my presentation, that would be so helpful for future presentations and what I should talk about.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.